What is Lolita fashion? First off, no, it's not a costume, cosplay, or a theatrical thing, and it is absolutely not a fetish or a sexual thing, full stop. If you think any of these things, you are completely misinformed, but don't worry. I'm here to offer you a simple and easy to swallow short summary. Good morning, my forest friends. I am so happy for you to join me today. My name is MoriMademoiselle, and today I would love to talk to you about Lolita fashion, as usual. This is meant to be more of an informative video for those of you who've seen it, want to be in it, or have a friend or family member who are already in it. I won't be getting too much into the super intense information that more established Lolitas know or learn through immersion. This is just a nice and easy to digest overview. Anyways, I would love for you to stick around, and I encourage you to do additional research or ask me in the comments down below if you have any questions I didn't cover, or if you would like me to do more elaborative videos in the future. Lolita fashion is a street style that developed in Japan in what many to believe the 80s, but there are several proto-Lolita looks beforehand. It was popularized by the musician Mana from the band Malice Miser, who went on to create the very well-known Gothic Lolita brand, MoriMademoiselle. Though many regard the fashion to be hyper-feminine, Mana identifies as male, meaning that it's not just limited to gender or identity or anything else in that way. Which brings me to my next tidbit. Lolita fashion is not just for women or femme-identifying people. People of any and all genders are welcomed in the fashion. Whether you are male, female, non-binary, or any other identity, it is a common misconception that only women can be Lolitas. There is a Lolita-adjacent fashion called Oji, or Kadona, that can serve as a more masculine take on the fashion, but that too is not limited to any gender. There is a lot of unfortunate misconceptions about what essentially is a social club circulating around a fashion choice. These include sexual promiscuity or fetishization, pedophilia, a desire to be a child again, or even cult-like tendencies. Unfortunately, these are extremely harmful depictions of what we are about, and we fight extremely hard to protect our spaces from anyone who brings these horrible things into our spaces. Lolita fashion is just that, a fashion. Lolita fashion, like any other fashion movement, has an inherent set of rules to preserve the easily identifiable traits and hallmarks. There are three styles: sweet, gothic, and classic. I personally dabble in all three, but I do prefer classic. While gothic is rather self-explanatory in what the style may typically look like, sweet and classic are a little more difficult to define from the outside perspective. Sweet is regarded as the most popular style in the West for quite some time. It is characterized by bright or pastel colors and some major brands associated with being primarily sweet, though most brands dabble in other substyles are Angelic Pretty and Baby the Stars Shine Bright. Common themes are fantastical creatures, food, and bright and colorful motifs. Classic is typically regarded as the more vintage and historically inspired substyle. Here you will find neutral colors and jewel tones and the more elegant themes such as books, music, and nature. These themes can also be richly detailed, colored, and constructive, so do not merely think that classic is boring. Food and fantastic creatures can also make their appearances, but more in a subdued way and a delicate way. Major brands that incorporate primarily classic styles are Innocent World and Mary Magdalene. Gothic, though I said above that it's more probably readily available and understood than the other subcultures in the West, due to Gothic culture already being pretty well known in ye old Western Hemisphere, is still different than your standard understanding of Gothic. Gothic Lolita fashion, also known as Elegant Gothic Lolita, or EGL for short, is primarily colored in blacks and whites, but can also include beautiful and rich colors. Common motifs are cathedrals, stained glass, religious iconography, or animals such as ravens, crows, or bats. These are just three main styles, and there are many other sub-styles that fall under these, such as sailor, country. That's one of my favorites. Even though there are different categories, there are several main rules in the fashion to be considered Lolita fashion. Experimentation is encouraged in the community, but we also understand and must understand that fundamentals must be understood before experimentations can be successful. Not every rule is 100% hardline, but you must also not break too many, or the coordinate or outfit may not be considered Lolita fashion. We also shorthand coordinate as cord, not co-ord or cord, just cord. I won't be getting into the rules here because I want to keep this short. Lolita fashion is not a costume or a cosplay. It is merely clothing we enjoy dressing ourselves in. It's not an alter ego or a persona that we put on. While many may enjoy wearing country, leggings, or designer labels as their fashion expression, we chose to wear frilly dresses and hair bows. We are not portraying any specific character. If someone is portraying a character in Lolita style, it is Lolita-inspired cosplay and not Lolita fashion. There is an important distinction to be made here. Cosplay is still cosplay even when in Lolita pieces. Lolita fashion is not cosplay, cosplay is not Lolita fashion. Much like how you can imagine or draw a character in modern clothing or a barista uniform at a cafe when they were not originally intended to be so, a character can also be interpreted in Lolita fashion sometimes for cosplay. But Lolita fashion is not cosplay. Unfortunately, we do share a name with the novel Lolita, a cautionary tale about the horrors of child grooming and pedophilia. We are not associated in any way except in name, just as many people in real life may share names with each other. The fashion itself is about modesty, a love of garment construction, and the roots of the fashion are firmly planted in Japanese feminist movements in the 80s and beyond. It strives to disconnect sexualization of the form and purely live for yourself. We as a community are extremely put off by being equated with those things, as we strive to be a warm and loving place for everyone, including abuse survivors. To be linked without regard to this is horrifying and honestly disgusting, and we do not stand for anyone equating to us as perpetuators of child abuse. We also do not dress like this to attract attention, as some may think. Of course, attention will come purely from the fact that our outfits can be loud and bombastic, but we do not seek to draw crowds or photo ops intentionally for our own personal gain. We are simply dressing this way because we enjoy it. Opinions of others do not really concern us, and it's really rude to continuously point out that we look embarrassing. We are not seeking approval from others outside the fashion, as we wouldn't have started in the fashion if we didn't enjoy it. Lolita fashion is just that, a fashion. With thousands of us all over the world, the fashion, due to its richness and rules, created as a thoroughly robust community surrounding it. In my experience, the community is a place for growth, not only in style, but as a person. I've met many good friends through the fashion and have grown in my personal life because of them. I sincerely hope that I've helped in understanding the very tiny surface of this community. I hope to make a video in the future on how you can be supportive of somebody in the fashion without having to participate yourself, so stay tuned. If you have any questions, drop them below and I would love to help. Subscribe for more content. I hope to upload at least once a week on Sundays, but also shooting for twice a week. Linked in the description are all of my social medias, as well as my art and illustration social medias and my Etsy store. I appreciate your time with me today, and I do hope that you stick around for more. Thanks for all the support that you've given me so far, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye and good day, my little forest friends.